Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing really well. Today I'm going to be going over with you guys 5 different fragrance lines that I personally think are sort of hidden gem fragrance lines. Now I'm not saying that these are completely unknown, that people have never heard of them. Some of these are going to be more hidden than other ones. It's basically what I'm trying to say. And some of these fragrance lines have fragrances that are easier to find than others. So some of these are hidden gem fragrance lines, and they're gonna take some digging or prodding around for you to be able to find the bottles, and others are pretty easy to find. Let's go ahead and jump into this, and I'll start breaking them down for you. Okay, first fragrance line, pretty easy to find. This one you can find at pretty much any discounter. It's not super underground, but it is a designer house and a designer line that does not get talked about all that much. It's Roberto Cavalli, and the line is their Uomo line. There's also a Just Cavalli line for men, but the Just Cavalli line underneath Roberto Cavalli is not quite as good. Those are pretty cheap. This has 4 fragrances as of right now. There is the original Cavalli Uomo, there's Cavalli Uomo Silver Essence, there's Uomo La Notte, and then Uomo Deep Desire, in that order. They released one in 2016, the original, and then they had one in 17, 18, and 19, but no release in this line this year. I would imagine that has a lot to do with the global pandemic. Each one of these fragrances is very good. Most of them are pretty affordable from discounters. Their price does range a little bit. Sometimes you can pick these up for in the $30 range. Sometimes it's closer to $50 or mid-50s. Now, originally, it looked like this line was going to make Violet the focal point of the fragrance line. The original Uomo and then Silver Essence afterwards both had Violet very prominently in the scents, but then in La Notte and Deep Desire, those notes are not found. All 4 of these fragrances are very versatile scents. They do, though, trend more toward fall and wintertime. Silver Essence probably being the one that's most well suited for spring, or if you wanted to, summer, though I think it's not really a summer-centric scent. My favorite of the bunch is La Notte. That one came out in 2018. It's got a similarity to Carolina Herrera CH Privé, though I think La Notte is actually better. It's got leather and cardamom, and the cardamom gives it this nice sweet sexiness to it. Big compliment puller, big mass appeal fragrance, great night out fragrance, great date night fragrance. Deep Desire, the newest release, that one has a lot of sweet spices in it. It's got pepper, it has saffron, has cinnamon, and cashmere as well on the base. And that one would serve a lot of the same purposes as La Notte, being a night out fragrance, a fall and wintertime fragrance, and being just overall a compliment pulling kind of scent. So Cavalli Uomo, the entire line, very solid. The original Uomo and Silver Essence, typically going to be the most affordable ones. Those ones are very nice, gentlemanly, little touch of powder sometimes in those, but really easy to wear, and they smell much more expensive than they cost. Next line is one that's sometimes hard to find. You'll find these on discounters, they'll pop on, get sold out, and then they'll be gone and come back. It's one of those kind of deals where if you want it and you see it for a good price, you should probably just go ahead and buy it, because sometimes they're hard to locate. And another thing with this line, at discounters, sometimes you'll find them for about $60. Other times they'll be closer to $100. So keep that in mind. This one does fluctuate. It's the La Collection des Essences from Elie Saab. And each one of these fragrances were perfumed by Francis Kurkdjian. I've linked a few of these in the description that are in stock as of this video at discounters, but like I said, they kind of pop on and off, so yeah. Each one of these fragrances is based off of a different note or accord. So for example, Essence number 3 is based off of amber, and in my opinion, it is a fantastic amber fragrance. I reviewed it about a year and a half ago, and everything I said in that video, I still think today. Awesome fragrance. It's got amber, popinax, patchouli, and sandalwood. The note breakdown is actually pretty simple, but the fragrance itself is not. It's a fantastic, great blend of different notes that give you this very warm, resinous type of scent. Some of the other fragrances in this line that I think are great are number 6, which is Vetiver, and that one actually you can still find available a lot easier than amber. Number 7, Neroli. Number 8, Santal or Sandalwood. And number 10, Tonka. Those are all fantastic fragrances. Then there's also number 4, which is based off of oud. Any of those, very wearable, very high quality, and honestly, the presentation is really good as well. Nice heavy bottle, great magnetic cap on them, really good line, sadly overlooked and now kind of hard to find. The next line I want to talk about is from Molinard, and it is their Elements line. These are the fragrances that come in a nice purple bottle. And these ones, if you can find them at a discounter, go for a really, really good price because the quality is much higher than what you're paying. Each one of these is a 2.5 ounce bottle, so 75 mils. My 2 favorites from this line would probably be Queer and Patchouli. Each one of those came out in 2015. I actually reviewed Queer on my channel a while back, so leather fragrance. That one's really, really nice. Got a nice smokiness to it. That's gonna be because there's oud in there, along with amber and saffron. It's got a lot of depth to it, a lot of richness. Really, really nice. The patchouli fragrance in this line is actually one of the better patchouli fragrances that I've smelled, and at the price point is really, really good. It's got a lot of depth to it, a lot of richness, some nice earthiness. If you're a big fan of patchouli, absolutely check that one out. In terms of bang for your buck, that is up toward the top of patchouli fragrances. They've also got a nice fig fragrance. They have a nice musk fragrance. They have a nice vanilla fragrance in this line. And they have one called Fleur d'Angers, and that one is a little bit similar to Neroli Portofino. So there's a lot to like in this line, and actually like the Elie Saab line, this one is based around different notes or accords. So every single one of the fragrances is just the name of a note or of an accord, like I said, fig or musk. And so the fragrance will center on that, but then it has other things that support it and really kind of help accentuate that note. Next line I want to talk about is from Gucci, and I guess I'll call it the Pour Homme line. Now this one I'm taking a little bit of an artistic license, I guess, calling this a line. It's 4 fragrances, but they're not necessarily tied in together, not all of them anyway, but they all use the same bottle style, so I'm going to include all 4 as its own line. So we've got Gucci by Gucci, that's the first one. Came out in 2008. Gucci by Gucci Sport. That one obviously goes hand in hand with Gucci by Gucci. Then you have Made to Measure, and then Intense Oud. Now Intense Oud probably is the one that you would most likely be able to say, oh no, that's not a part of the line, but the perfumer that did Intense Oud is the same one that did the original Gucci by Gucci, uses the same bottle, so I'm gonna go ahead and lump it together. Now Gucci Intense Oud has gotten a good amount of love from me and other people as well. It is very expensive as far as designer fragrances go, though it is an oud fragrance technically. It's a really, really powerful fragrance. It's got a similarity to Nasomato Black Afgano, so it's got a niche qualities to it. It's fantastic. And one of the reasons it doesn't get talked about as much is the price. I mean, at the price you pay to get that one, you are paying essentially niche prices. But the fragrance itself is great, it's awesome. Gucci by Gucci has long been one of my personal favorite fragrances. It has cypress in there, it has tobacco, so it's this kind of green, woody tobacco fragrance. It's nice, sophisticated, it's not dirty, it's not heavy, great for spring, great for fall. There's also violet in there, there's patchouli, there's leather, and so when you see those notes, you probably do think, if you've never smelled it, oh, it sounds like it would be heavy and maybe smoky and off-putting potentially, but it's not, it's great. Made to Measure has lavender and plum and bergamot, and online it's actually gotten a good amount of hate. Like if you go to Fragrantica, a lot of people do not like Made to Measure, but I actually think it's pretty nice. It's pretty good for compliments. It's very versatile, it's easy to wear, it's very approachable. It's not a really loud fragrance, it doesn't project a whole bunch, it sits close to the skin, but it smells really nice. So even though it does not get a whole lot of love, it's surprisingly good. And then Gucci by Gucci Sport is a sport fragrance. So yeah, it does have an interesting note breakdown. It's got fig in there, it's got cypress, it's got juniper, but it's not super interesting for me. Out of the 4 fragrances, that one is the one that does not capture my attention quite as much. Sits close to the skin, closer than Made to Measure does. Does not last an extraordinary amount of time either, but where it's kind of a gym sport fragrance, you probably don't expect it to. That being said, Gucci by Gucci Sport does have fans, and some people think it's fantastic, so it may actually work for you a lot better than it does for me. I don't hate it, I just think it's okay. Now, before I talk about the last line, I need to quickly bring up another one, the Davidoff Blend line. I wanted to include that one, but it is getting pretty difficult to find most of the fragrances in that line. There are 4, and as of this video, only one of them can be found pretty easily. So there's leather, amber, agar, or oud, and wood blend. So leather blend, agar blend, etc. Of the bunch, amber blend right now is the easiest one to find. When those were readily available, they were actually really good. You could find them 50, 60, 70 bucks on the high end as far as discounters go. And the quality there was really nice. The bottle's nice. Just everything about the line was top notch as far as Davidoff stuff goes. But now they are getting much harder to find, so I didn't really want to focus too much on that line. That being said, if they were easier to find, I'd be talking about that one as the last one. Now, the last one I want to talk about is from Azzaro. It's the Sensual Blends line. Now, this isn't completely unknown. I've talked about this line. Other people have talked about this line. It's really inexpensive. You can find these fragrances typically about 30 bucks at discounters. So they're not really gonna put a big dent in your wallet. Most of them are pretty nice smelling. They're easy to wear, compliment pulling type of fragrances made for just mass appeal. And once again, these fragrances are centered on a particular note or accord. So while these aren't super complex fragrances where there's all kinds of stuff going on, they do smell really nice for the price, and they're kind of dumb reach fragrances. Just when you're going out the door, grab it, spray it, go, and people are gonna like it. My 3 favorites are Ginger Lover, Wild Mint, and Amber Fever. So those 3 are the ones that I think you should check out first if you're gonna check this line out. Ginger Lover is made for people, well, I mean, it says it in the name, people that love ginger. It's citrus and ginger, and it gives it that really big sparkle, that pop, that kind of effervescence off your skin that so many people enjoy. Ginger Lover is basically a blue fragrance on a budget. So if you like fragrances like Bleu de Chanel, Versace Dylan Blue, even Dior Sauvage, stuff like that, then this is gonna give you a similar kind of vibe, only emphasizing the ginger more. So it's gonna be a really fresh kind of spring and summertime fragrance, but with huge versatility. Wild Mint obviously focuses on mint. When you first spray it on, big minty pop. As it dries down, you're gonna get some patchouli in there, but it's really focused on that opening and mid with the mint being the real focus. And then Amber Fever, this one's gonna be warmer. It's gonna be more for fall, more for winter, and more for evening wear. It's got amber in there and cacao as well, or chocolate, so you've got a little sweetness from that. There are other fragrances in the Sensual Blends line, but those 3 are my favorite, and this is another one that had releases in 2018 and then 2019, and 2020 happened and nothing. So hopefully the line's not dead and more come out next year, because I do kind of look forward to these as just really inexpensive fragrances that are, like I said before, easy to wear. All right guys, there are 5 hidden gem fragrance lines in my opinion. Let me know in the comments a hidden gem line in your opinion. As always, thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for all your support, and I will see you guys tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys. Stay safe out there.